As Wangari Maathai said, nature is very unforgiving, and if you destroy nature, it will destroy you.
In Kenya, more than 100 people are reported to have died and at least 250,000 have been displaced by flooding.
3 people are said to have died in Taita Taveta and 150 others displaced
were swept away with over 60 passengers on board.
Most of the buildings are not designed with water in mind. Generally, it is known that the construction industry is the biggest altar of the environment. When you construct, you remove the earth's capacity to absorb rainwater. So Nairobi is basically almost all built on a concrete jungle. When most of the buildings are not designed with water in mind, so you come up, you put up your building, but you do not consider what happens when the volumes of water that first was absorbed, used to be absorbed by this ground, and the volumes that will come into this building. How am I going to deal with it? The ideal situation would be you drain the water from a building to a service provided by the county, but the county drainage services are almost non-existent. The natural environment is generally green, filled with soil and trees and all that. So what happens when you introduce the building or the services that support a building? We are basically removing the soil and the trees and the vegetation, the grass and all that. And what are we putting in? We are putting in concrete, basically. Concrete walls, concrete slabs and concrete surfaces for vehicles to move in. So what have we done? We have removed the earth's capacity to absorb this water. That means the volume that would have been absorbed is now running on the surface, meaning that all the opportunities that water would have had to drain the water naturally have been removed. Flooding is caused by extreme amounts of water, storm water. That means it rains a lot. And this water cannot be managed by the ground surface. So it cannot be absorbed. All of it cannot be absorbed. So what happens? The excess runs off. Runoff means it is flowing on the surface of the ground. So every time you think of bringing up a building, know that you are altering that environment. So what happens? You build a building and drain onto the road. So when you drain to the road is not designed to drain water, basically. So what happens? You flood the roads. You flood the roads, you flood everywhere. There are legislations that try to make sure that a certain percentage of greenery is retained. There is plot coverages and plot ratios, but you'll find that most of the time we don't even adhere to that. So there is enforcement issues. We have legislations that we are not willing to adhere to. Why are we not willing to adhere to? Because we want 100% productivity from a piece of site. So if my regulations say I need 40% plot coverage, 40% means I can only build a building on 40% of the total area on the land. I will still want to build on the other 60% so that I can maximize on my returns. So there is the enforcement issue. We don't want to enforce what already exists.